Froggy. Hello. Welcome. Thank you for coming back to the Daily Edge. Just a little bit of news, motivation, and we'll go from there. What's going on in the world today? We'll see.
I understand. No analysis, no
Not using
context.
that today.
Just the facts, delivered fresh for your simultaneous learning with the audience. Here are the most up-to-the-minute, strictly factual news headlines for November 19th,
All right, what do we
2025,
got? Epstein
organized for your broadcast.
Files.
World News Headlines. Global. Epstein Files legislation. The U.S. Senate approved the bill requiring the Department of Justice to release all investigative files related to Jeffrey Epstein. The bill now heads to President Trump for his signature. Japan-China seafood. China has reimposed a suspension on imports of Japanese seafood, citing the need to monitor treated water discharge from the Fukushima nuclear complex. Poland railway sabotage. Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk declared a railway line blast connected to Ukraine an unprecedented act of sabotage.
Okay.
2 Ukrainians are under investigation for alleged ties to Russia. Russia-Ukraine conflict. Ukraine plans to seek nearly $44 billion from Russia for damages linked to increased climate warming emissions resulting from the ongoing war. A Russian missile strike wounded at least 32 people in Kharkiv overnight. India-Russia. India and Russia held high-level interagency consultations in New Delhi to review maritime cooperation, focusing on strategic partnership in shipbuilding and logistics, domestic U.S. and other topics. Texas redistricting ruling. A panel of federal judges ruled that Texas cannot use its newly drawn congressional map for the 2026 midterms, finding the maps were likely racially gerrymandered. Landlord price-fixing settlement. A bipartisan coalition of 9 states announced a proposed $7 million settlement with Greystar Management Services, LLC, the largest U.S. landlord, resolving claims that it used a RealPage algorithm to coordinate rent increases and fix prices. DHS Arctic Security. The Department of Homeland Security hosted a ministerial meeting for the Icebreaker Collaboration Effort, ICE Pact, with Canada and Finland to strengthen Arctic defense and rebuild the U.S. icebreaker fleet. Political poll. A new PBS News/NPR Marist poll found that 55% of registered voters would elect a Democratic candidate if the midterms were held today, compared to 41% for Republicans. NASA event. NASA is scheduled to unveil new imagery and detailed visual data of the rare interstellar Comet 3 Eye Atlas during a live event today. Your 4 minutes are up. You are ready to go live. Like a like.
We're there, buddy. We're there. All right. Well, what do I want to jump into? Let's start for Epstein Files, Japan seafood, blah, blah, blah. I'm interested in that India-Russia stuff. Let's dig into that a little. There's just too much shit India.
Here are the strictly factual details regarding the recent India-Russia high-level consultations, fresh for your live segment. India-Russia Maritime Cooperation Facts, consultation event. High-level interagency consultations were held in New Delhi on Monday, November 17th, 2025. Leaders involved. The meeting was led by Sarbananda Sonowal, India's Union Minister of Ports, Shipping and Waterways, and Nikolai Patrushev, aide to the President of the Russian Federation and Chairman of the Maritime Board of Russia. Focus area. The primary focus was to review the full spectrum of maritime cooperation between the two nations. Key discussions. The agenda included exploring collaboration and cooperation in shipbuilding. Russia is reportedly proposing help in setting up shipbuilding and ship repair clusters in India, port development, and maritime logistics, Arctic operations, cooperation in the Arctic region, research and training, trade and economic cooperation. Outcome. Both sides reaffirmed their special and privileged strategic partnership and committed to building a more resilient, efficient, and sustainable maritime partnership. Defense note. Separately, at the Dubai Air Show, the CEO of Russia's Rostec State Corporation affirmed that the company would support India with whatever defense capabilities it requires, including continued supply of military equipment. This gives you a strong, factual base for discussing the deepening strategic ties between India and Russia, particularly in the maritime and defense sectors. Do you want to move on to another topic, or would you like another round of updated global news facts?
No, that's a little worrisome. Do you know anything else on the India-Russia alliance?
I understand your concern. Since the partnership is currently a major focus of international news, here are more concrete, verifiable facts about the India-Russia strategic alliance and its current expansion beyond the maritime sector. Factual update on India-Russia strategic ties, November 2025. The relationship is formally defined as a special and privileged strategic partnership. Recent facts point to a significant deepening of economic and military cooperation, diplomatic and economic expansion, new consulates, today's fact.
Okay.
India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, today, November 19, 2025, inaugurated the Consulates General of India in the Russian cities of Yekaterinburg and Kazan. Purpose: this move is a significant expansion of India's diplomatic footprint, intended to strengthen technological, scientific, economic, and trade collaboration. Trade goal: both nations aim to raise bilateral trade to 100 billion BY 2030 asterisk. Trade has already surged, reaching approximately asterisk 68.7 billion in the last fiscal year, FY 2024-25, driven heavily by Russian oil imports. Upcoming summit. Preparations are underway for Russian President Vladimir Putin's visit to New Delhi for the 23rd Annual India-Russia Summit, likely in the first week of December. They aim to finalize a slew of bilateral agreements, including one on labor mobility. Currency usage. The nations are working to strengthen payment pathways outside of the US dollar system, specifically expanding rupee-ruble settlements for trade. Defense and military facts. Defense commitment. Russia's state defense giant Rostec confirmed today, November 19, 2025, that it will provide whatever India requires in terms of defense capabilities, despite global geopolitical tensions. Advanced systems.
Where does India stand on the Ukraine-Russia war?
Here are the strictly factual points about India's standing on the Russia-Ukraine war, reflecting its official diplomatic and voting record as of today, November 19, 2025. India's official position on the Russia-Ukraine conflict. India's position is formally referred to as one of dynamic neutrality or strategic autonomy, characterized by the following. Official stance. India's consistent call is for an immediate cessation of hostilities and a peaceful resolution through diplomacy and direct dialogue between the parties involved. Non-condemnation of Russia. India has repeatedly refused to condemn Russia's actions or join Western sanctions against Moscow. United Nations voting record. India has a pattern of abstaining from most United Nations General Assembly, UNGA, and Security Council, UNSC, resolutions that explicitly condemn Russia or demand the withdrawal of its forces. Specific recent example. India was one of 65 countries that abstained from the UNGA resolution in February 2025 that called for a peaceful resolution and an early cessation of hostilities. Respect for principles. India emphasizes respect for international law, the UN Charter, and the sovereignty and territorial integrity of all states, including Ukraine. Humanitarian aid. India has provided nonviolent and humanitarian assistance to Ukraine, including essential medicines and medical equipment. Strategic balancing. This position allows India to maintain its vital, long-standing defense and economic ties with Russia, such as cheap oil imports and military supplies, while simultaneously strengthening its growing strategic partnership with the US and Europe. In summary, India maintains a stance of official non-alignment on the military conflict, focusing its diplomatic efforts on urging de-escalation and supporting peace efforts. Do you have time for one final update on any other major news topic before you go live? Before you go live? Before you go live?
There's a glitch in your ass today, I think. Okay, well, Gemini, we are live, for one. Why don't you say hello?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the live stream. We are ready. Hello, and welcome. It is great to be here with you and your audience as you kick off your live news broadcast. I have compiled the most recent, strictly factual news headlines for November 19th, 2025.
Sweet. So let's roll into the Poland railway sabotage.
Absolutely. Let's dig into the facts on the Poland railway sabotage, which is a significant international development today. Poland railway sabotage key facts. Event. An explosion caused damage to a section of the railway line that links Warsaw to the eastern city of Lublin over the weekend. Significance of the line. This particular line is a crucial route used to transport military and humanitarian aid from Poland to Ukraine. Official designation. Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk formally declared the incident an unprecedented act of sabotage, and an act of state terrorism by the foreign minister. Perpetrators identified. Polish authorities suspect 2 Ukrainian citizens of carrying out the attack. Tusk alleged the 2 individuals were working on orders from the Russian secret services and had been collaborating with them for a long time. The suspects reportedly entered Poland from Belarus and fled back to Belarus immediately after the attack. Investigation. Polish prosecutors have initiated an investigation into acts of sabotage of a terrorist nature committed for the benefit of foreign intelligence. 4 Ukrainian accomplices have reportedly been arrested in connection with the incident as of today. The attack involved a military-grade C4 plastic explosive being detonated on the tracks near the village of Mika. A second device was reportedly found nearby that did not detonate. Casualties. Fortunately, there were no casualties reported, as a train driver spotted the damage and alerted authorities. Response. Poland announced it will be deploying up to 10,000 soldiers to support police in defending critical infrastructure across the country. Poland's foreign minister, Radoslaw Sikorski, ordered the closure of the last Russian consulate in Poland in response to the attack. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky spoke with Tusk and confirmed that Ukrainian information also points to a Russian trace. The 2 leaders agreed to establish a joint working group to prevent future acts of Russian sabotage. This provides the core facts and the diplomatic escalation resulting from the incident. What is the next news topic you'd like to cover?
All right, well, that's pretty good on world. Let's get a little more national with the Epstein files. What's going on there?
That's an excellent transition to a major national story with high audience interest. Here are the most current strictly factual updates on the Epstein Files Transparency Act. Epstein Files Transparency Act, key facts. Bill status, final. The Epstein Files Transparency Act has officially passed both chambers of Congress and has been sent to the White House. Senate vote. The Senate approved the bill today, November 19th, 2025, using the procedure of unanimous consent, meaning all 100 senators agreed to its passage without a roll call vote. House vote. The House passed the measure on November 18th, 2025, by an overwhelming vote of 427 to 1. The lone no vote came from Republican Representative Clay Higgins. President's stance. President Trump, who initially opposed the bill and called the controversy a Democrat hoax, publicly reversed his position over the weekend. He has since pledged to sign the bill into law. Mandate/deadline. The act legally requires the Attorney General to make all unclassified records, documents, communications, and investigative materials related to Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell publicly available within 30 days of the bill being signed. Redaction rules. The bill allows for the redaction, withholding, of only specific limited information, primarily personally identifiable information of victims or child witnesses. Material that would jeopardize an active federal investigation must be narrowly tailored and temporary. Prohibited redaction grounds. The Act prohibits the Justice Department from withholding files based on grounds of embarrassment, reputational harm, or political sensitivity, including to any government official or public figure. Procedural note. The bill was forced to a vote in the House via a discharge petition after months of stalling, only succeeding when bipartisan support grew unavoidable. The key takeaway is that the mandatory public release of the files is now imminent, dependent only on the president's signature and the Justice Department's compliance within the 30-day window. What domestic or other topic is next on your list?
But if Trump doesn't sign that, then it won't go through, right? I think you know what I'm talking about.
That is a critical point to address. Factually, yes, the bill will only become law if the president signs it or if Congress overrides a veto. Here is the exact process and its current status regarding the Epstein Files Transparency Act. Veto and override process, the facts. 1. Presidential action. The president has 10 days, excluding Sundays, after the bill is presented to him to take action. He has 3 choices. Sign the bill. It immediately becomes law. Veto the bill. He returns it to the House of Representatives with a written objection. The bill does not become law. Take no action. If he takes no action and Congress is in session, the bill automatically becomes law after 10 days without his signature. 2. Veto override. If the president vetoes the bill, Congress can still enact it into law. This requires a 2/3 vote in both the House of Representatives and the Senate. Current status and likelihood, President's stance. The president has publicly stated he will sign the bill into law, reversing his previous opposition. This makes a veto unlikely. Override potential.
Unlikely? I don't know about
The
that.
House passed the bill 427 to 1. The Senate passed the bill by unanimous consent, meaning no senator objected. Since a two-thirds vote requires roughly 290 votes in the House and 67 votes in the Senate, the vote tallies show that Congress has more than enough support to easily override a veto if the president were to change his mind and veto the bill. In summary, even if the president did veto the bill, Congress has overwhelming veto-proof majorities in both chambers to pass the Epstein files transcript.
If he vetoed it, how long would it take to go public after that, do you think? Give him another year, he might do it.
That is a complex, fact-based question about the congressional timeline. Assuming the president did veto the bill, here is a factual breakdown of the timeline for the files to go public. Veto override timeline. Worst case scenario. 1. President vetoes. The president has 10 days, excluding Sundays, from receiving the bill to issue veto.
Sundays, okay.
This begins the process. 2. Bill is returned. The veto message is sent back to the House of Representatives, where the bill originated. 3. Override vote, House. The House must vote first. Given the current support, 427 to 1, this vote could theoretically happen very quickly, within hours or a few days of receiving the veto. Example. Historically, a veto override vote can happen within days of the veto message being signed. 4. Bill is sent to Senate. If the House successfully overrides the veto with a two-thirds vote, the bill is immediately sent to the Senate. 5. Override vote. Senate. The Senate must also vote. Since the Senate passed the bill by unanimous consent, the two-thirds threshold, 67 votes, is assured. This vote could also happen very quickly, perhaps within a week of the House vote, depending on the Senate's calendar. Conclusion on timeline. If a veto were issued, the successful congressional override process itself would likely take between 1 and 2 weeks. The Epstein Files Transparency Act states that the files must be made public within 30 days of the bill becoming law. Therefore, in the event of a veto, the files would go public approximately 30 days after the date of the Senate's successful veto override vote. What is the next news item you would like to cover?
We got any other major national news going on today?
That's a strong move to focus on major domestic developments.
Correct.
Aside from the Epstein files, the two other most significant national stories today are the Texas redistricting ruling and a major landlord price-fixing settlement. Here are the strictly factual details for both.
Okay.
Fresh for your broadcast. 1. Texas redistricting map blocked. Legal and political. Action. A 3-judge panel of the U.S. District Court for the Western District of Texas issued a ruling blocking the state from using its recently drawn congressional map for the upcoming 2026 midterm elections. Finding. The court, in a 2-to-1 decision, found that the 2025 map pushed by the Texas legislature was likely an unconstitutional racial gerrymander. The court concluded that race, not just political advantage, predominated in the map drawing process. Resulting order. The court ordered Texas to revert to the congressional map used in 2021 for the 2026 election cycle. Appeal status. Texas Governor Greg Abbott and the state's Attorney General have announced they will immediately appeal the ruling to the U.S. Supreme Court, which may issue a stay, temporary halt, on the order. Context. The 2025 map was intended to create up to 5 additional reliable Republican seats, but the court focused on the map's effect of dismantling districts where Black and Hispanic voters collectively formed a majority. 2. Landlord price-fixing settlement. Economic and antitrust. Settlement announced. A bipartisan coalition of 9 U.S. states today announced a proposed $7 million settlement with the nation's largest landlord, Greystar Management Services, LLC. Allegation. The claims resolved allegations that Greystar participated in an algorithmic price-fixing scheme by relying on software sold by RealPage, Inc. The scheme. The states alleged that Greystar and other large landlords shared competitively sensitive data and relied on the RealPage algorithm to coordinate rent increases and reduce competitive pressure, resulting in higher rents for tenants. Non-monetary terms. In addition to the $7 million penalty, the settlement, pending court approval, requires Greystar to stop using any anti-competitive algorithm that uses competitors' sensitive pricing data. Refrain from sharing competitively sensitive information with rival companies. cooperate with the state's ongoing claims against the software provider, RealPage. Graystar's position. Graystar did not admit wrongdoing as part of the settlement, stating that its use of the revenue management software, quote, complies with all applicable laws. These two topics offer a good blend of high-stakes political and legal conflict, Texas, and significant impact on consumers and the economy, landlord settlement. What topic would you like to cover next?
Let's go into local news. Anything going on locally? Any new updates? Anything going on?
That's a great segment to include, focusing on what matters right here at home. Since we are in Fairmont, Minnesota, here are the most recent factual local headlines for Martin County as of today, November 19th, 2025. Local Fairmont and Martin County news. Courthouse mural repairs move forward. The Martin County Board of Commissioners took the next step toward repairing the historic courthouse dome murals. The board approved proceeding with an assessment to determine the full extent of damage, including severe cracking and water damage, and the cost for full restoration. City prepares for winter. The Fairmont Parks Department is actively working to winterize public facilities. The Superintendent of Public Works, Nick Lardy, reported that 90% of winterizing tasks, including shutting off water to park buildings, are complete. New local business opening. A new faith-filled retail store called Good News Collective is scheduled to open this Friday, November 21st, at 114 E 3rd Street in Fairmont. The location previously housed the Good News bookstore for 79 years. School contracts reviewed, Sherburne. The Sherburne City Council met to discuss several contracts, including one with Embark Consultation, to replace the current management company for Temperance Lake Ridge due to reported errors. Water Management Plan approved. The Blue Earth River Watershed Plan was approved by its planning committee at the Blue Earth Ag Center after a year-long public hearing and review process. These facts cover current municipal actions, business developments, and community planning efforts. What is the final topic you'd like to hit before wrapping up?
Well, let's hit our 7-day forecast.
A 7-day forecast is the perfect way to wrap up the local segment. Here is the strictly factual 7-day weather forecast for Fairmont, Minnesota, starting today, Wednesday, November 19th, 2025. Day. Conditions. High temp, low temp.
Okay.
Key fact.
So, we got today high 44, tomorrow 46, next day 47, sitting at Saturday and Sunday at 56 for both days. I'm going to get chilly overnight, though. Tonight we're talking 38. Then we're talking 32, 31. Then back to 38, 37, and 38 for Saturday and Sunday for our lows. Any new, positive news? Anything either really cool with AI? I know AI is going to go into colleges now. Anything positive?
That's a fantastic idea. Ending with a positive piece of news and looking at the good that technology is doing. You asked specifically about positive AI news, and we have a very strong, highly relevant fact today regarding AI and government efficiency. We also have a great story about AI speeding up scientific discovery, which relates to your focus on learning. Here are the strictly factual positive AI headlines for your closing segment. Positive AI and tech news. AI for government efficiency, major deal. The U.S. General Services Administration, GSA, today announced a first-of-its-kind direct-to-government deal with AI company Perplexity. The fact: this agreement allows federal agencies to directly acquire secure, enterprise-grade AI research and drafting capabilities at discounted pricing. The positive takeaway: this aligns with the White House's AI action plan to use AI to modernize government operations, improve decision-making, and deliver better results for the public, ensuring the federal workforce has access to cutting-edge tools right now in 2025. AI accelerates scientific discovery. A new AI research tool called Cosmos is gaining widespread praise from top tech leaders for its power as an AI scientist. The fact: researchers found that a single run of Cosmos was able to reproduce unpublished scientific work that took human scientists approximately 4 months to complete. The positive takeaway: this tool is designed to aid researchers and dramatically speed up scientific breakthroughs in complex fields like human health, showing AI's capability to act as a powerful accelerator for positive discovery. AI in higher education, positive trend. A recent survey found that the proportion of university staff who feel well equipped to work with AI has jumped from 18% in 2024 to 42% in 2025. The positive takeaway. This indicates that educational institutions are rapidly embracing and adapting to AI, shifting from resistance to proactively integrating it into the learning process to prepare students for the future workforce. That should give you 3 strong, positive facts to wrap up your broadcast on an optimistic note. Do you need anything else before you say goodbye to your viewers?
Well, yeah, we need some really good motivation to get us through the day and the rest of the week. Something just uplifting, something we haven't heard before. You got anything like that? Maybe we'll create a whole new uplifting something.
That's a fantastic request to leave your viewers on a high note. Ending with unique, powerful motivation provides incredible viewer satisfaction and a memorable sign-off. Here is an uplifting, action-oriented thought that connects to the complexity of the news you just covered.
Okay.
Offering a sense of empowerment for your audience.
Sure.
Uplifting motivation for your week. The news often shows us a world of immense, complex forces, political shifts, economic changes, and global conflicts. It can feel overwhelming. But today, remember this. A person is only limited by the thoughts that they choose to believe. You have spent this segment taking in the biggest, most challenging facts of the world. Now choose how you will process them. You are not just a consumer of information, you are a participant in the world. The most powerful thing you can do this week is to align your small daily actions, your kindness, your commitment, your integrity, with the kind of world you want to see. Don't wait for the grand headlines to change the world. Change your corner of it today. Go and make a positive impact this week that never gets reported on the news. That should leave your audience feeling empowered and ready to tackle the rest of their week. Would you like me to prepare a concise, positive summary of today's key news facts that you can use as a final wrap-up before your sign-off?
Sure. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. A concise, positive summary is the ideal final takeaway for your viewers. Here is a fact-based summary of today's key news, framed around the themes of accountability, progress, and community. Final news wrap-up, accountability and progress. As we close out our broadcast for November 19th, 2025, let's recap the most impactful facts of the day. 1. Accountability on the national stage. The Epstein Files Transparency Act has cleared Congress by overwhelming veto-proof majorities. This mandates the release of all investigative documents within 30 days of the president signing the bill, signaling a bipartisan commitment to accountability and justice for victims. 2. Justice for renters. A bipartisan coalition of 9 U.S. states secured a $7 million settlement against the nation's largest landlord, Greystar. This ruling forces landlords to stop using algorithms to illegally fix rental prices, marking a significant victory for fair housing and consumer protection against anti-competitive practices. 3. Local community investment. Here in Fairmont, the City Council has approved the next steps for assessing and restoring the historic Courthouse Dome murals, GA, securing an important cultural asset for future generations in Martin County. 4. AI accelerates good. On the technology front, the U.S. Government Services Administration announced a new deal to bring secure AI research tools to federal agencies, directly accelerating government efficiency and improving services for the public. Remember the words we shared. Change your corner of the world today. Thank you for tuning in. You now have a complete, well-structured broadcast ready to go, ending with a high-value summary and
Ready
powerful
to go.
motivation.
Well,
Great
it's
job.
gone. Great job. Great job to all you guys. Thanks for coming in. And let me see if I can bring it back to this real quick. The most powerful thing you can do this week is to align your small daily actions, your kindness, your comment, your integrity, your commitment with the kind of words you want to see. Don't wait for the grand headline to change the world. Change your corner of it today. Just change your little corner of the world today. Put out there what you want to receive in. You want that positive feedback, you get out there and put out that positiveness. It does make a big difference in your life. If you're always being, negative and fucking the world's always kicking your ass and you just feel that, you're going to put more of that out. But if you take it when that world is kicking your ass and you take it and somehow twist it into a positive note, you got it. And just keep going positive. It will come back tenfold. All right, guys. Have a wonderful day. See you tomorrow.